Hey, welcome. It is a windy and rainy Friday. We're getting ready for April here. Out like a lion, in like a lion, out like a lamb.
But it is warm.
We've got some riding weather coming up. Everybody is getting a little stir crazy in the shop. We're ready to ride some motorcycles around. We actually have some new Halcyon owners in the shop. Jacqueline put her order in for a Halcyon this week. John, Jordan's father and service extraordinaire, bought a used Halcyon. I'm going to ask the backstage crew if they could go turn off the impact wrench, Hannah. Thank you. Why don't you say hello in the comments there? My name is Grant Longenbaugh. I am the plaid moderator, the Nick Offerman knockoff, the brawny man without the brawn, and the world's greatest
moderator.
Small YouTube live stream host. Welcome everybody.
And I'm Richard Worsham, founder and designer here at Janus. Welcome.
Yeah, we've got some really fun stuff to cover today, and we love hearing from you in the comments. We've got an eyeball on those. If you have any crazy things that you want to ask about, or if you have any trouble hearing or trouble seeing, please speak up. This is a two-way street. Even though we're the only ones on the screen, it's not because our egos are so big. We will really want to hear from you. Hey Bill, hey Rev, hey Tom, hey Jordy. Jordy's one of the true blue live stream hosts. Can everybody hear and see okay? All good on the live stream? Great.
We're saying the microphone's a little static.
I'm going to see about...
So I'm going to give it a quick little restart on the mic. Say it. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
1 second. We'll be back in 1 second here. Hello? All right. Let's see how that sound is now.
Yep. Awesome. I don't see many folks saying this sounds weird on the comments, so it might just be Hannah. Got our backstage crew here. While we're working on that, great. In true newscast style, we've got some great news, and I'm going to, Jordan, are you ready to pull up some of those reports from our field reporters are coming up. This is the new segment we're premiering here today. We wanted to feature some customer photos because it's riding season, and this is a great lead into some of the fun stuff that we have coming up this spring. This is a picture from David Evans, one of our rally attendees. He won the best dressed rally attendee and the coolest Farkled bike.
Don't mess with Dave.
Don't mess with Dave. He's a great guy, but he does have a rifle, replica or not, on his front forks. Okay, hop on over to the next one, Jordan, if you're ready. This is Carl Mann's trip report. Carl Mann has been riding his 450 around Branson, Missouri, and he's having a grand old time on it. Flip over to Carl's big smile on the next one there, Jordy. Awesome.
There he is.
Perfect. That's Carl. He's riding 450 number 40 something maybe. I forget what number he is. 39. Putting some good miles on it. If you're in the Branson area, go in between slot machines, go say hi to Carl, flag him down on the road. Who's up next? We've got multiple delivery routes going this week, and Mark in California just received his green bike. That's 450 number 100 or so. 133.
Great color scheme.
I know, it's beautiful. Next one. This is Dave Gaskill, I believe. John, who just picked up a 250, you see his long legs in the background. Dave just got his beautiful charcoal and silver 450 number 154 delivered. Flip on over to the next one. It's twin. Oh, nope, that's a little...
different angle?
Yep, this is Sandra. They're down in Louisiana, I believe, and they did a veterans ride for maybe Vietnam vets. That's her 250, a beautiful bike. That's olive green with black pinstripe and maybe redwood leather.
Mm-hmm.
Flip over to the next one there. This is Patty Thornton on her 250.
Great backdrop.
I know, it's awesome. Kind of looks like the Halcyon script too. Halcyon and Coca-Cola seem seem the same. Flip on over to the next one. That might be our last one that we got. This is Kirk. He came and picked up, Kirk might be on the live stream. He's usually frequents them. Kirk just picked up his 450, which is really similar, although a little bit different. It's in the pewter color with black pinstripe and a silver feather. He went and picked up this awesome Amish hat on his way home. We got this awesome photo of him. I'll see if we can round that up for next week. Oh, Bree's here is making an appearance. Hi, Bree. But bikes are shipping. People are having a good time on them. It's so fun to see these bikes out in the wild. If you were a rider and you want to take some awesome photos, send them our way. Post them on the Owners Forum. We'll share them on social media or talk about them on here. So thanks for those ride reports out there. That is a great lead into what we've got going on here. First thing we're going to pitch, the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride is coming up. She's okay. Bree wants to be a part of the live stream too. We need to get a bench for her. The Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. Richard, will you tell us about the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, please?
The Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, I'm sure some of you all already know about it. It's been going on for many years now. We've been participating from very early with our 50 cc's. But the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride is a yearly ride that goes to support men's mental health, or health in general. And it's a fantastic cause. The fun part of it is that you get to dress up in your finest, your most dapper outfit, and ride your motorcycle. They do focus on classic-styled motorcycles, and so your Janus, I think the Janus is the perfect motorcycle for the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. It is not only for gentlemen to ride, so it's for ladies and gentlemen, so all are welcome to ride in it. We have just registered. Registration opened on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We registered as a team, a Janus Motorcycles team, so you can, maybe we can post, can we post links up in this?
Yeah.
We can post a link in the comments.
Yep.
Where you can go and see, you can find our Janus Motorcycles team page and sign up there. That doesn't mean you can't ride in your local city. Most large cities have a DGR ride that is happening in your city. We have one as close as South Bend, which we'll be participating in.
And if you're in middle of nowhere, Montana, you can ride on your own too and
absolutely.
Raise funds. It's a worldwide ride. Say that 8 times fast.
And it can be one person, 2 people, or if you're in Chicago, 300 people.
Right.
So anyway,
we've been on one in Chicago, and it seemed like there were about 800 bikes and roaring down Wacker Drive with all the skyscrapers around along the Chicago River. That was really, really fun. So
it's pretty amazing. So it's a wonderful cause. Janus, we signed up as a team about 3 days ago. We've already raised over $1,000 for this great cause. So please consider supporting it, even if you don't ride. It's a great cause. So that's the DGR update. Oh, by the way, it is happening April 28th, I think. We can look up the actual date. It's the end of this month. We'll give you the date here.
Yep.
April 20th.
Sunday, the 21st of May.
Oh, okay. There we go. 21st of May, next month. So plenty of time to get it on your calendar.
That's awesome. Word on the street is we will be a part of the local ride. We're still working out the details with the South Bend organized ride, but we will at least be representing the South Bend ride. We're trying to get a leg of the ride to come by Janus Motorcycles. So if you're in the Janus Motorcycles area, Northern Indiana, Southern Michigan, feel free to come down, call us if you want to find out where we're going to be meeting up to ride, but we would love to have as many Januses there to represent. If you want to go further afield, just take pictures and share them with us. It would be so fun to see a couple hundred Januses with dapper dudes and dudettes riding them all around the world. So join us for that. We've had some awesome press this week. Richard was interviewed. He welcomed Brent Donaldson,
editor-in-chief of Modern Machine Shop magazine. Modern Machine Shop magazine, if you're not familiar, is a almost 100-year-old magazine published out of Cincinnati, Ohio, that focuses on machining. It's kind of it's designed for machinists around the country to give them the latest news on machining. They have a podcast called the Made in America podcast, focusing on companies that manufacture here in the States. And they did a really interesting podcast that covered some ground that we really haven't talked a whole lot about here on either in our YouTube or anywhere else. And they focused on our milk run, which is our run around the county, which, Jordan, are we going to be showing that video today?
We have it available if we
Grant?
I think we'll skip
We'll
it
skip
today.
it today.
Yeah.
We did it last week. We will come back to that. But it's basically, we drive a black van around the county, picking up and dropping off parts with all of our local, what we've started calling our hyper-local supply chain. And there are podcasts focused on that. We have sound clips from some of the Amish folks that are on that, our exhaust manufacturer, our machinist. And it's an interesting kind of look at our philosophy on why we manufacture not just in the States, but as close to home as mostly in Elkhart County, and how that it's not just a kind of a moral choice, but also a pragmatic one that allows us to do what we do. We couldn't really do it any other way.
You want to dig into that a little bit?
Yeah,
Have a good
we
time?
can talk about it. Yeah.
We get a lot of questions. There's a common intro that I use on email blasts or social media posts, and there's an interesting kind of overlay between how we make them and why the bikes are the way they are.
Yep.
And
why the company is the way it is.
And why the company is the way it is. It's really great alignment and a fit from the way we manufacture the product to what our motorcycles are uniquely in the world.
Yeah. So a great kind of way to approach that is previously on the Made in America podcast, they featured a company called Land Motorcycles, which is an electric company with its antecedent was Cleveland Cycle Works, which uses a similar engine to what we have. And they basically had, like many other people trying to make things around the country, had a really hard time getting manufacturers to make things for them, especially like motorcycle parts, in the quantities that they wanted to as a small startup manufacturer. Yep. And so we've never run into those problems here at Janus. The fact that we had a network of people in Elkhart County, which, as many of you know, is the RV capital. 80% of RVs are manufactured right here in Elkhart County. And what that means is that it has developed an ecosystem of machine shops, literally everything you need to make anything. Just about anything. Yep. You can find, and it's not just one supplier here or there. There are,
in some ways,
hundreds.
It's like the Silicon Valley of
exactly
manufacturing and fabrication.
It really is.
It really is a little
really
hotbed.
is.
Yeah.
And so what that means is that we can go into one of these small shops, and they are perfectly okay taking an order for 10 parts or 25 parts.
Or one to start.
Or one when we first started out.
Yep.
And that's how, there's no other way that as a small company we could have started this if we had to place orders for 1,000 units, like if you go overseas. So the other side of that is, as a small company, handling the logistics and the inventory that you need to hold, especially in the last 2 years, the language barriers. It can make an industry which has a high barrier of entry impossible to get into. So by having a friend at the end of the road that we can go visit and talk to, and work in the back of they'll let us work in the back of their shop. That allowed us to start and bootstrap something into what it is today, incrementally.
Yep. And that.
So it's a pragmatic thing for us.
Yeah.
It's not because we are.
It's not because it's romantic.
Right. Or it's some kind of ideal that we have. It's like this is how it works for us.
And the way that plays into the way that our bikes are meant to be ridden is that it's pragmatically personal, in that the real choice about why you ride a motorcycle is rarely about what people make it about. You ride a motorcycle because you want to go meet people, you want to see new things, you want to experience your commute differently, you want to get outside of your cage, you want to get your eyes off of a screen, you want to experience nature, you want to hang out with your wife or your buddies, or have a ride with your son, or a family member or a close friend. And what makes Janus bikes pragmatic for that is that it encourages that immediacy and the connection with other people, rather than kind of veiling it behind features and technology. And it's kind of a red herring to make a motorcycle about. It's fun to ride a spaceship,
right?
But it's not about people. Then
it's
about
isn't
technology.
necessarily why we started riding motorcycles in the first place, and that's really our argument. Is as motorcyclists, we need to all these bikes, these spaceships and hot rods and everything are fantastic, different options that we should all have the ability to have an opportunity to ride. But oftentimes, it's really kind of a deception that's being pulled on us by the industry.
It's the big bike lie.
It's the big bike lie
Yeah.
that you need all these things that actually are distracting you from the real essence of riding, which is feeling the wind in your face,
Yep.
being exposed, having this visceral connection, which we call rambling. And that's kind of our best description of what a motorcycle should do in general and what a Janus does very particularly.
Yep. So we'd love to hear anybody's. I saw a great comment from John. Loved your last Rambler post. It was perfect. Thanks for
Awesome.
saying that.
Yeah.
Scott asked, would any of your Amish suppliers allow video to be taken of their fabrication processes, or is that verboten?
We have done some video, which you can see maybe a beard.
Hanging in over the top of the frame. Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most part,
And this sewn up here. Yeah.
I always say that they don't think it's going to steal their soul, but they're very averse to any sort of, how would you describe it?
Limelight.
Limelight.
Yeah.
Yep. They don't believe in that. So we go to great lengths to respect that.
And that's respectable.
But if you listen to
Urge, yeah.
the Made in America podcast, there's some great audio of our leather harness maker, Mark, talking a little bit about what he does, so it's really valuable. We haven't really seen that before. What's up next?
I'm looking. That's great. I'm checking on. Got a couple other folks checking in. One from New Jersey, Jeep Man Dan. Is that Dan Coombs? I can't remember. Hey Dan, Jeep Man Dan. Thanks for.
Jeep Man Dan's been on a lot of stuff lately.
Yeah, he
Good
is.
to see you.
Great. Yep. The other thing. Oh, I'll wait for that for later. You want to talk about what we've been doing in the Fab Shop? We're not there today, but probably the next live stream we'll head on down there. But there's been a lot of really exciting stuff going on down there.
Yeah. So I mentioned it in my Sunday evening live stream beginning of last week. As happens in manufacturing, we ran into an issue with some of the tooling. Basically, as happens, tooling wears out. New folks are using it and getting used to it. And so we had a little issue with part of the tooling and the fitment of parts. And so in the past, maybe a year ago, that would have basically shut down production for a week while we figured out what was going on. Instead, we were able to basically get our engineer Charlie on board, get Jay, the fabrication lead down there, figuring it out. Took a couple of hours and worked through exactly what's going on, and then we've made some great improvements. Charlie's been focusing on tooling improvements down there, primarily while he's working on the actual fixturing. That right now we're focusing mainly on the rear transom for the 450, but also he made a simple little tool, which it's kind of amazing to think about how simple it is, but it basically improves our accuracy on our CNC bender so that we can be much more accurate in terms of marking up exactly where the bends need to be. That's the simple version of it.
So we made this awesome little, very tight, the tolerance is so tight that you need to oil the little pointer.
It's a tungsten carbide. It's a little carbide pointer.
Yep, a spring-loaded tungsten carbide. It looks kind of like a punch or an awl, and you push it in to line up the bend right with the etch mark before you finalize the bend.
Yeah, because each tube has, we etch a little mark on it that shows the exact indexing and where the bend needs to be on the tube. And and I think Dennis was saying that he could feel when he pushes the pointer down and rotates the tube, he can feel it click into the etch mark. That's how accurate we are.
It's really cool.
So it's made huge advancements. Jay told me yesterday that the rear transom, the new one we've had out of all this tooling and improvements is the best one he's ever made. So it's always good to hear that.
It's really cool. Other folks farther afield, John just got back from an East Coast delivery trip. Kyle is out on the West Coast. We've got an exciting, our first actual race bike is racing tomorrow. Our demo Griffin is being raced by another Kyle. Kyle from a brewery out in California. I will look up the name and I'll post the link. Viewpoint Brewery.
Viewpoint, yeah, that's right. You did the logo on the helmet.
Thank you. Yeah, I did. Yep. And Mitch was out there visiting family a couple months ago, and he struck up a conversation with Kyle out in California, and Kyle used to race bikes, and he's doing a, that's a good question, Jordy, I'll get to that. He's doing, he suggested, I would love to race a Janus bike at the Biltwell 100. The Biltwell 100 is happening in the middle of the desert in California.
It's not the Mint 500, but.
No, it's great. Yes, Mitch says, Biltwell 100, Janus Griffin 250 in the Misfits category. We are Misfits. Wear that badge proud. Kyle will be racing on Saturday. It's kind of a great, if you're out in California, you got to drive a ways to get there. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and it's kind of got this Burning Man sort of Woodstock vibe to it. It's all camping, very primitive. It'll be a really fun time.
And it's hosted by Biltwell, who actually supplies us with a lot of parts on our bikes,
grips,
and and a lot of the helmets that we sell.
So that's happening. Kyle is out there supporting the other Kyle at the race. He just wrapped up a first leg of a big delivery trip. We've got more 450s being delivered in the Bay Area, in California, and then back. We're headed very far south to El Paso and through Austin area to pick up another bike that has been doing press work for us with the Texas Motor Press Association. Richard has been doing a lot of cool research about watches, and this is a great, the sun came out a little bit and we all looked angelic for a second. We did a great photo shoot with a two-door watches in Texas, and that was really fun.
Two-door watches, yeah.
So that bike is coming back. That brings up a good point about how several folks that are interested in buying a bike wonder what the shipping process is like. And Tim, 450 number 113 made it better late than never. Yep, thank you very much, Tim. About 3 years ago, we primarily used LTL carriers to ship our bikes. Every once in a while, we would do a delivery trip. With COVID and increase in fuel costs, the cost of those shipments doubled. The time that it took the bikes to get there doubled, and the damage that incurred during that time nearly doubled. We had more damage claims on LTL shipments in 4 months than we did in the 4 years previously.
And we were simultaneously doing some deliveries, and we just recognized how much better the experience was when we did it.
Yeah. We can walk through the bike with you. It's kind of like kick it off the back of the tailgate and sign here sort of thing. John and Woody and Kyle and other folks in the shop. Brent, our fender bender, has done deliveries. Unhook the bike. They show you, walk you through it. Sometimes it takes longer. The long story of, to make a long story longer, is that sometimes a bike sits here a little longer because we spend the time to bundle it together with other bikes. And that's really important because we'd rather have it sit here in safety than we would in a terminal in Las Vegas or Schaumburg, Illinois for 6 weeks, or York, Pennsylvania,
where you don't necessarily know what
and
the status is.
Yeah,
or we don't either.
So if you're wondering what there's a production timeline when you get your bike ordered, and we'll say it'll take 6 to 8 weeks, which is about what it is right now, for the bike to get into production. It's usually another several weeks after that until it's completely wrapped up, completely last chance, gets on the van and heads your way. Once it gets on the van, it's pretty quick to get to you. Kyle left last Saturday, and he's halfway through his trip. So it's not a huge time frame about how long it takes you to get the bike once it hits the road. It's usually about bundling it together and making sure that the bike is here safely, and then it gets to your place safely. So that's we get a lot of questions about that too. So if you're ever curious about that, I'm happy to talk through that on an individual level. Obviously, people that live in Idaho, it's usually takes a little longer to get a trip together than folks that live in Ohio. But we still work very quickly to make that done.
The end result is it's a better experience for us, and it's definitely a better experience for you, the customer, to have us do that.
Yep. Craig says, I can relate from personal experience that Woody did a great job introducing me to my new bike. Awesome experience.
Awesome.
That's great, Craig. Okay, what's next? Biltwell 100 is tomorrow. Sunday night live stream. if you guys want to crack open a beer and hang out with Richard, Sunday night's the night to do it.
Sunday
Tell
night
us
at
about it.
7 o'clock. I've been doing, is it 7? Yeah, 7 o'clock. I've been doing a live stream. Maybe this time we won't have technical difficulties. The internet went out last time, so it just ended. Apparently it ended on
on a high note. He said, we'll see if this works.
Yeah, and then it just went dead.
Yep.
But anyway, I've been enjoying a beverage and doing some design work, and so it's kind of like a screen share in our design software. And this week we will be working on, if you live in California, it may be kind of frustrating for you to see this, but we are re-upping on our California certification, and they're very particular about making sure that you can't tamper with your carburetor. And so we just got, they sent back and said this isn't tamper-proof enough. So we're redesigning the fuel-air mixture tamper-proofing. So it's actually a really good example of a machine part and how we do it in Onshape. And I'm going to take it through from creating a part number all the way to releasing the print. So it should be a really great
really cool.
live stream.
And what time is that and when?
7 o'clock this coming Sunday night. And
what channel do we tune our TV sets to watch that?
Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah.
We will have a link up today for that. So
great.
Also answering questions, just hanging out. So bring your questions, please.
That is a great lead into the next thing coming up. You're headed to Boston for what?
I'm headed to Boston with Charlie in
May?
Yes, there we go. Not April. May for the PTC LiveWorks 23 conference, which is the same software I will be using Sunday night. Onshape is a CAD software, and I will actually be presenting at that conference put on by presenting about how we use Onshape at Janus Motorcycles. So that is going to be the 15th through 18th of May in Boston, where they're headquartered.
We'll have a bike on display there.
We will have a bike on display
really cool.
and demos of the software, which we're looking forward to.
Yep, that's really awesome. Thank you for it's next on my list, Mitch. If you're curious about what kind of spring promos we have, our inventory, I've been beating this drum for a while. Once the weather starts warming up, our inventory disappears very quickly. There's just a couple bikes left on the floor. So if you want to ride a bike tomorrow, buy a bike today. Otherwise, you got to wait at least 6 weeks.
And we have some that you can take away and they're good to go.
Jordan and I just photographed the 450 number 148, I believe, yesterday. Back in our little photo alley. It's where all the seniors and the motorcycles get their senior pictures taken around Goshen.
Graduation photos.
Yeah, graduation photos. And that one is, Kelly just last chanced it yesterday. That's that's a 450 that you can ride home tomorrow if you want to. That's on the website. We've got two 450s on the website, just one other 450 on the website, 161. And then we have several 250s still available. All of those inventory bikes qualify for free shipping. That doesn't mean you can ride it tomorrow if you're having your bike shipped, but we won't charge you for shipping for it.
It's a good deal.
Yeah. The lead time for 250s and 450s is, we've been working really hard to shorten that up. Back when we launched the 450, the lead time was about 18 months. Now it's about 6 weeks. And that's right in the sweet spot. So if you're ready to ride a 450 or a 250 this summer and you want to start from scratch, get on that build configurator, build your own, call Mitch, he'll help you through the process. Hannah's happy to help too. She's got a good eye for color. And let's get a bike on order. You want to talk about parts?
Yeah.
That's kind of the news I've got. Let's do a feature, a 60 minutes feature.
Yeah. Well, we can talk a little bit about the frames, and maybe we'll just do a quick dive into the rear suspension on all of our models. So we have right here they're increasingly rare, but the Softail 250. So this is unlike our Halcyon, which should I roll this in? We can show them So.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's cool.
So
we're mobile.
Got all the props ready here. Does that work, Jordan? All right. There we go.
Oh, nice.
We're improving all of our production quality here, if you can't tell. So this is the flagship Janus frame right here, the Halcyon 250. This is very, if you looked at this, or at the frame of the 50cc, which we got started with many years ago now, you would instantly recognize this. It's essentially the same frame, just beefed up. It is unique in motorcycle frames today because the back end of the rear transom, as we call it, is hard. It's a hard tail. It's welded together. There is no rear suspension. All the suspension is accomplished in the seat. And as any of you all here on the live stream, 250 owners, Halcyon owners know, it's actually quite a comfortable bike for a variety of reasons. Main one being the lightweight, but it's and the good design. But it's great for a kind of a standard cruising motorcycle. However, we also offer on the 250 line, which is now we have discontinued the Phoenix, but we still offer the Griffin. The Griffin and Phoenix shared the same frame, but this is a soft tail. So this is really traditional twin shock rear suspension with a swing arm. So the pivot's right here. If you notice on the 250 frame, it has these plates. So everything from here forward is exactly the same. Let's go look at the 250 frame. The difference over here is that there is no hole drilled for the swing arm, but it's literally the same frame as the soft tail from here forward.
Same bends, same parts.
It's the same part numbers, everything. Mm-hmm. This one just has this subframe welded on that supports the seat and then also the swing arm. So this would be, if you're familiar with the Norton featherbed frame, which we've written some blog posts and done some features on, developed in the late 40s and came to fame at the Isle of Man TT in the early 50s, and basically totally transformed motorcycle frame design. Many manufacturers went to this double cradle style frame after that. This is essentially right off the shelf. Kind of we based it heavily on that frame because it's tried and true and has a really neat history. Grant has got a swing arm, so we can actually see this is the part you see right down there. Another great Janus part that has some really neat components, and it is a great illustration of the different processes and different ways we do things here at Janus. So what you're seeing is tube. So this is a piece of tube which is laser cut with the copes already in it. Then you're seeing it's been fish mouthed. So when we talk about fish mouthing, it means we've closed the tube down. So you can see in profile it has this nice elegant shape. That's a press function that we do that with. And then it also has laser cut parts like these back here. So this is just a straight flat sheet metal part, in this case a 1/4 inch plate that is both the shock absorber mount and the rear axle mount there. It also has machine parts on here. So the pivot up at the front is a machine component, and then these beautiful brass plain bearings, which in my last Sunday night live stream, we talked a little bit about why we use the plain bearings instead of needle bearings. So it's a bushing, it has grease wells in it, and it will also, it is a great application for a part that's only moving up and down like this. It's not spinning around like a wheel. So nice little part to illustrate a lot of the stuff we do. Last thing we'll do is we'll just kind of contrast this with the 450. The 450 is, we wanted to basically have obviously the swing arm, and typically they would look like that one that we just looked at on the 250, but we wanted to preserve the lines that we also saw on that 450, on that 250 Halcyon. So the lines that I'm talking about are the beautiful lines coming up from the bottom and going up to the top that on the 250 are welded together. So it's all one piece. We wanted to preserve that. Everyone appreciates those lines on the Halcyon, and we didn't want to really put like that kind of cafe style swing arm on the back. So to do that, Grant has right here the rear transom for the 450, which is actually the part we talked about with a lot of the tooling updates we've been doing. This is one of the main frame is complex on the 450, but this is one of the most complex parts we make. If you spin it around, you can see there's even some stamping or pressing of the tube right there that allows for chain clearance. So lots and lots of different operations.
Here and here.
Yep. We have
Chain
a
slider block here.
chain slider, machine parts, Zerk fittings up there for greasing, a lot of complex bins. This has 2 bins in it, so that it gets really
4 fish mouths.
yep, 4 fish mouths on the back, and we do all that down at the fabrication shop. Your brake pin, but the goal with making a transom like that is that it accomplishes the same thing as the 250 Softail swing arm, while having this really this aesthetic that we really didn't want to lose on the Halcyon 450. It also happens to be an extraordinarily rigid swing arm, and works really well with the layout, the whole back end of the Halcyon concept that we want to stick with. So right there you see basically those are the 3 different back ends, rear wheel mounting / suspension that we use on all of our models. Do we have any more questions, or?
I'm checking the question queue here. Jansen said, R.I.P. Phoenix. Mike asked about an event, Thunder in the Valley. Do you think you'll have a presence at Thunder in the Valley other than himself? The man, the legend, Mike Trueblood. You guys got to check out Mike's awesome ride. He did a GoPro ride for us on the YouTube channel, and he rode around scenic Pennsylvania. Vanna White Longabaugh, thank you. That's I'm not 90, but I'm not as good looking either. So I don't see any other questions. Any questions about frames, forks, swing arms?
Anything else?
I'm gonna walk around.
450 luggage rack.
450 luggage rack. Where can I throw my money? We are so close to launching the 450 luggage rack for pre-orders.
Yep.
And that'll help us get our first production order in queue. That is not open yet, and I will not take your money. Please hold it carefully, and we will take it soon, I promise. Maybe as we speak today, Charlie is doing a destructo test on one version of the 450 luggage rack. Richard has been doing road testing with his daughters.
Yeah. My daughter Eleanor was riding on the back of the 450. I took her to her piano lesson. So it's a great test ride.
So we're doing the last little bits on that. Hang in there. It's going to be worth the wait and worth the money. It'll be really an elegant solution. It will keep your cargo nice and secure and not rattle it to bits. It will keep your passengers happy and cushioned. And that is a brave owner. That's awesome. Yeah, if Richard takes his daughters on a motorcycle, that means you can believe in the product. So, what's that old AC Delco commercial? We stand behind our oil changes and in front of our brake jobs, and it's a good.
That's a good one.
Yep. Jordan and I used to work for an agricultural company, and there was a competitor that they stood behind their manure spreaders, and that was a funny, funny ad too. Any other questions, folks? What's coming up next? Make sure you hang out with Richard on Sunday evening. Make sure you get your orders in if you're on the fence or considering placing an order. It's high time to do it. It's a perfect time of year to get a 450 in.
Did we mention the next in-person Discovery Day?
Oh yeah, we did not.
Yeah. So
Next if you want to come to the place itself, right here, and walk around, eat donuts and drink coffee, and then go eat food with us. That is at the end of April.
22nd?
April 22nd. There are a few tickets left. You got to pre-purchase them because we staff the event based on how many people are signed up. So get on the website if you want to bring your buddies or your sons or your nephews or your mom or dad and show them around this cool place where your motorcycle was built or the motorcycle you want will be built. Come and do it. We do offer exclusive Discovery Day only specials if you order a bike during Discovery Day.
Yep.
Can't get it anywhere else.
It's a fun day.
Yeah, it's really cool. So if you want to come in the shop and join us here, and instead of watching from from a little box on your computer screen. Do that. We have dates in May, June, and July also on the website. Those are super fun. Scott Spence, I saw something about a center stand for the 450. Is that under development? The development is developing.
Yeah, we're working on it. We want to wrap up the pillion seat luggage rack right now.
So, great questions all. We really appreciate you hanging out with us every other Friday.
Yep.
If you want to see something, if you have topics for discussion that you want to talk through. Who won the Sturgill Simpson cast? Jansen, that's a good question. Jansen was our TikTok. He's on the, we'll have to figure that out, Jeep Man Dan, and I'll get you a t-shirt if you want it. That was a great Sturgill.
Did we ever answer it? Though. Oh yeah, Sturgill Simpson.
Yeah. That's a deep cut. If you want to hear about any, and race live stream. Jordy, I don't know if there's a race live stream for the Biltwell 100. I will Google around for you, or you should do it too and put it in the YouTube notes if you find something.
If you want to see anything, if you have questions or want to see stuff, you can email us, comment on this, whatever. We're looking for your feedback.
Great. Have a great day. Ride safe. Have fun. Be well. All that stuff.
We'll see you next time. Bye.